So my name is Cal Vinson, and I'm a former student of McMillan High, Junior High. And then right now I go to Texas Tech University. I'm a freshman by like class. I'm a sophomore by hours, and my major is international economics.
Well, that's a pretty cool major, Cal. Can you tell us a little bit more about what international economics is for our kiddos?
So economics is like a study of like the theory of how people like where they're going to spend their money, like how they're going to spend their money. So international economics is basically how countries and people in countries will spend between different cultures, nations.
That's great. That's you know what, you're the first former student I've ever had, and I wasn't Cal's teacher, but I was his football coach for a couple years. You're the first former student I've ever had that's had that major, and that's really incredible. And that's really says something about you, man. Talk to us about think back to your days at McMillan Junior High as a seventh and eighth grader, and I know that was a long time ago. But what was your favorite memory from being a student here at McMillan?
Oh, probably the like having fun at lunch. I know that's so dumb. I probably should be like a class or something like that, but definitely hanging out with my friends, like at lunch, doing all that, and then football, sports, all of that is what I remember the most, and definitely all my friends from that time.
Well, that's great, and I know lunch is one of the most fun places a junior high. So it's funny that you say that. Well, what do you like most about college so far? What do you like the best about college at this point?
I would say probably the best thing about college is that you really get to one, your work ethic and like what you do really shines, and then two, that you really get the ability to do what you want with like what time you have. Like in high school and junior high, your time is really structured, and whenever you go to college, your time is really up to yourself. Like when you study and things like that, when you take classes and things such as that, like you wind up realizing like, oh, I need to study now. Like no one's gonna teach me word for word what's gonna be happening. Like I'll need to look at my textbook, and it can be a good thing or it can be a really bad thing if you don't do it. But that would probably be one of the best things about college is that you really get to make your own time.
Well, what kind of events does your campus put on? Talk to us about the kind of events that go around in your campus.
So this is kind of a weird year, so not much is going on. But well, there is actually a lot going on, but a lot of it's online. Usually, Texas Tech has this thing called the Carol of Lights every year, which is like a huge celebration where like they light basically the entire like university is lit up with Christmas lights, and everyone sings like Christmas carols in like the main square. And other than that, we're really good at basketball and not so good at football, but everyone goes to them. Uh, and we have a lot of organizations. I think over like 600 organizations, something along those lines. And so you can really get involved in any way you want. We have a free speech area in the student union near the student union building, and you can like, if you really wanted to, you could probably go out every week and join a different club. So
Well, that's awesome, and it's really good information for our kids. Now, you talked
mhm.
about your major. How long will it take you to graduate? And explain that a little bit about why it's going to take you that long to graduate.
Okay, so I will be graduating at like the regular rate, so about 4 years. Part of that, I actually brought in about 30 hours from dual credit. Dual credit and AP are probably one of the like best things. Dual credit was really valuable to me because you get credit regardless of like what your score is on the AP test. And other than that, I would say that I am actually kind of have a weird situation. So I'm an international economics major, but I'm also aiming at going to med school. So I have a chemistry minor and a potentially a business management minor. Don't really know where that lies yet, but so I'll be graduating in 2024 for my undergraduate degree, and then I'll be going and maybe getting an MBA and then going to med school is my plans.
That's great. And something you just mentioned, you talked about dual credit. And for our junior high students, we probably have a lot of students that do know what dual credit is, but we have some that don't. Can you talk to them about what dual credit is in high school?
So dual credit is essentially taking a college class and a high school class and putting them together. So they're just like uh, you'll be taking a high school class at your high school most of the time, and or online, I guess. And then your credit will be considered both a high school grade and a college grade. So if your school takes it, which almost every single Texas school takes dual credit grades to some degree, what it will apply to your school. So what the thing that's great about it is the cost per hour goes down. So a class here might take $600, $700, and a class on dual credit will take significantly less per credit hour. So all in all, it starts working out to being less for you.
And that's great information. And students, I know that you're listening to this and you heard that, but man, that's some valuable information. And I know that's some good information you're going to have going into high school. Well, Cal, I know you're a freshman as far as the amount of time you've been there, but you're a sophomore as far as credits go. Talk to us so far about our kids. In your opinion, what do you think has been the most challenging part of your freshman year? And I know maybe, some COVID things may play a role into that, but talk to us about, in your opinion, what so far has been the most challenging thing about your first year actually going into college?
I would say probably the most challenging thing has definitely been socialization aspects of college and stuff like that, really getting to know people. And now it's not that hard for me because I'm pretty outgoing, but sometimes getting to be friends with some of those people who aren't as outgoing has been really difficult. Other than that, I would say probably not having classes in person is kind of difficult. And then the fact that a lot of events get canceled or moved is probably that. But I mean, a lot of it does happen to be COVID-19 issues this year, just because there's not really any other issues that can happen when you're online.
And is there anything you would have done differently as a junior high student going into high school to kind of start preparing for college? We talk a lot about college and military and different careers here at the junior high, but I know in high school it really ramps up. Is there anything in junior high you would have done differently, or any advice you can give our seventh and eighth graders going into high school that you would have done differently as you kind of start thinking about and getting ready for college?
I would say one, that I would have probably taken more dual credit classes just to transfer more, but also watch out because sometimes if you take too many credits in within a certain period, some scholarships won't be applicable to you. Now, there's a lot of scholarships open to freshmen, but if you take too many hours, then you won't count as a freshman. So you'll have to deny credit if you want to get those scholarship opportunities. And then, other than that, I would say probably to actively look into like what you would like to do, even if you don't have a decision yet. Really trying to look into like some people will say like, oh, I want to be a doctor, or oh, I want to be an engineer, but they really don't know what that is. They're kind of just doing what they think they want to do and going with the flow. So if you really want to, I would say try and get shadowing hours or something of the like to be to really like understand what industry or what career you really want to go into. Like if you want to be a doctor, go and try and work at a doctor's office if you can, if that's available to you.
And students, I know as you're listening to this is some great information and some things that you can really take back and really think about this year as seventh or an eighth grader and as you get ready to go into high school. And Cal, we really appreciate your time. You're a great student here at McMillan and in Wiley. And I just think it's awesome that our kids get to hear from former Marauder, former McMillan Junior High students and how they're doing in college and about their experience.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.